Hi there. Today I have a short video for you covering something that is completely different from me, and that is how I plant succulents. Now, I show on Instagram often cards I'm making and such, but I also show my collection of succulents and cactuses often, and I get so many questions on how I plant these succulents because I've told people how easy it is. So I thought I would finally just do a video showing it. This is how I do it. It may not be the best way, but this is how I have found works really well. Now I have another video where I created cute little tags that go inside succulents that you may give as gifts, which you see here in these little succulents. If you click here, it'll take you to the video where I show how to do those. It's a little more of a crafty video, or you can look at the YouTube description below for a link to take you to that video. Little succulents like this make a great gift, and they're inexpensive, and you can add some crafty touches to it. Now here is my big disclaimer. I am not an expert by any means on this subject. I have just done this on my own, kind of figured out what works for me, and I thought if it works for me, it might work for you too. I keep it very simple. So if you really want to learn the right way to do all this, please do some YouTube searches or whatever, and I'm sure there's a lot of great information out there. But this is how I plant my succulents, and it works really well, so I'm hoping it will work for you too. So let's go ahead and talk about the few things that you need to do this. The first that you need is a container of some sort, a little pot, a little teacup, whatever. It's actually better to have a hole in the bottom because you don't want your succulents to hold too much water. They don't like a lot of water. But I tend to ignore that rule and just use whatever I think is cute. And I'll share some tricks in a moment on how you can keep from overwatering your plants. So pick out a container, preferably with a hole in the bottom, but really you just want something cute. Next, you'll need some soil, and I'm going to show you what the bag looks like. It's a cactus or succulent soil. It's very easy to find. Actually, I know you can get it at big stores or even on Amazon. So you just want to make sure you have that because the plants will grow so much better if you do have this particular kind of soil. When I plant my succulents, I like to have rocks, like little tiny pebbles that are good for a nice finishing touch and also help in case you get too much water in your plant. You don't have to have this, but I think it really adds a lot to your planted succulent. Last but not least, you need some succulents or cactus. Now there are many varieties out there and some are easier to grow than others. You could do the research about that, but me, I just get what appeals to me and I hope for the best. Now I get my succulents at a local florist shop, or you can get them at like a Home Depot or Lowe's, and even on Etsy. You can get some unique ones on Etsy.com where people will ship them to your house, and I'll link to that below also. Now that we've covered a little bit about what you need, I'm going to go ahead and show you all these things as I do some planting. So I have this cute little cup that I believe I got from West Elm. It's just a tiny little cup. And I'm going to put some bigger river petals, they're little rocks that I bought on Amazon, in the bottom. This is in case I have too much water. When I put water in this someday, I put too much water in it, the water can settle at the bottom and not hurt the roots of our plant. Now here is the soil I use. It's an organic cactus mix. I get mine on Amazon, and a little goes a long way here, so this container will last you for a while. And I just fill my pot up almost full with the soil. This will compress some, but we need to have room to stick our succulent in also. So I got this little guy at my local florist. I think he's just adorable. I'm going to kind of pull apart the roots a little bit and just stuff him in there. Succulents are very forgiving. They don't have too many roots, so I just put it in there and I've never had a problem with it. Now to give it a finished look, I'm going to put some of those same pebbles on the top. And this kind of covers up the soil and kind of presses it in and gives it a nice finished look. So there, see how easy that is? So easy. And this guy is ready to go. Now here is a very important tip with succulents. You don't want to overwater them. They don't like to be very wet. The trick that I have found with watering succulents and cactuses is to use ice. So I would put a small ice cube on this guy. Once, maybe every other week, I put a reminder in my calendar to water it. I put probably about a half of an ice cube in here and just let it melt, and that's all the water it needs. It's a great way to keep it from flooding your little succulent. Okay, now I wanted to show you how I did this big guy too, just so you can see how I put a couple different plants in one. So I have this big container. I got it off of Etsy. I just think it is so cute, and I'll link to that below in my YouTube description and over on my blog. Now I want to fill up this bottom with some empty space. I don't need this to be full of dirt. So what I do is I take my containers and I put them down there crunched up just as a filler. I do this with my outside plants too. This way you don't have to waste a bunch of soil to fill up this deep, deep pot. So now that I've got that in there, I am going to go ahead and fill this up with that cactus soil that I showed you earlier. And really that spacer in the bottom, those empty pot, little containers, save a lot of room. And also if you put too much water in here, that'll keep it from sitting on your the roots of your plants. Okay, so here is an aloe plant. I love these. These are very easy to grow and they're very big. So I'm going to put him in there. I kind of pulled his roots apart and I'm going to stuff him in there. Now I'm not going to push it in too much because I still have to put some other plants in here. So I just want to make sure that I do have soil all around the sides, even though this guy's kind of being pushed to the back. So I'm going to add some more soil in there, and it's time to come in with some other plants. This is another little guy I found at my florist. I just thought he was cute. I have no idea how he'll do in here, but I'll give him a lot of love and hopefully he'll make it. Then I'm going to come in and stuff a little more dirt around that. Again, it's that same soil. You can see this is pretty quick to do. And now I'm going to come in and stuff another succulent over on the other side. I found that I can put these in pretty close to each other because their roots don't grow too much. Pots outside, you need to have some space for them to grow, but these guys don't grow a huge amount, so you can put lots in close to each other. So now that I've pushed them all in there, added dirt all around them until I feel like they're pretty secure in there, I'm going to go ahead and add some pebbles. This time I'm using little pebbles that I believe are meant for aquarium. These are much smaller. So I use a scoop to kind of pour them in there and kind of fill in all the areas. I use a dry paintbrush to brush away any dirt that is sitting on my succulents from when I'm doing this, because I tend to be kind of messy when I do this. So having a dry brush nearby is also helpful. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill up all of the surface with these little pebbles. You don't have to put these on here, but I think it really gives a nice finished touch, and these pebbles are very inexpensive. I could use the large rocks, but sometimes I just like these little guys. I think they're really cute. You can get them in fun colors even, so you could even have neon little pebbles if you wanted to. And that's it. That's all I did for this big guy. And I just set them in an area that has lots of sun. So you want to put this in front of a big window or something, because the more sun they get, the better they do. So that is the simple way that I go about planting my cactus. I have these filling my craft room and I really love them. Now if you want to learn how to create little tags to put in your succulents, if you want to give them as gifts, you can click here to see the video where I show how to make these little tags here, or you can look in my YouTube description where I have a link to the video. If you're interested in the products I use, I link them all below in my YouTube description to the exact soils and rocks that I use. Or you can go over to my blog at jennifermcguireinc.com where I'll have much more information. Thanks for watching a little different video from me today, and I hope you'll come back soon.